Okay, so what I'm going to show you guys tonight is cube steak and gravy. It's just a regular cube steak and gravy recipe that my parents used to do all the time. And all I'm going to do is take the cube steak, and it's just regular cube steak, and I'm going to fry it. I've already got it salt and peppered on one side, and I'm just going to salt and pepper it on the other, flour it, and throw it in and fry it. And I'll show you how to do that. I made a mess over here. That's okay. Okay. Now your cube steak is just regular cube steak that you buy at the grocery store. And like I said, I'm just going to salt, pepper, flour. Very easy. Really easy. And then I'll show you how to make gravy out of the, well, we call them the drippings or whatever, of the leftover, meat that you fried it in. Okay, let's get rid of that. Alright. Now, this is going to go fairly quickly. I'll show you this part on how to fry it real quick. And then I'll come back and do the gravy. But I'm going to do cube steak and gravy over white rice. And just some purple whole peas. And probably some cornbread. I don't know. Cornbread will be on a different video though. So if you're... I probably won't get to show it on this video because the way it's timed out. Anyway, you got your vegetable oil. And I've heated it up on medium heat, and I'm just going to start throwing those in there just like that. Start frying them, just like that. Just lay them in there. And you don't need a lot of vegetable oil for this, but I like to use vegetable oil instead of lard because it's just better for you. A little bit better anyway. And we're just going to fry those until they're done and take them out. Now, the way I do it is I put half of them in gravy and half of them I leave out because, well, not everybody likes gravy. And if you don't, that's fine. But if you do, that's good too. So see, it kind of goes kind of fast. Those are almost done frying. And I've got other ones salt and peppered over here. See, so that's easy as can be. But the reason you flour it is to make like a crust on it a little bit for the ones who don't like the gravy. But it's basically going to be just a simple brown gravy that's really good. See, those are almost ready to flip. And you want to keep your heat on a medium heat. You don't want to, anytime you're messing with oil, you don't want to turn it on high, because then you take the risk of the outside getting burnt and the inside not being done. That's what you take the risk of. And you don't want to do that. Okay, let me wash my hands. Yeah, those are almost ready to flip. Okay. But for this, it doesn't matter if you use plain flour or if you use self-rising flour. Use whatever kind of flour is, whatever you have, whatever kind of flour you have, it'll do, it'll work. You just want to kind of make a crust on these. Let me get a fork here. And you kind of want to lift up under them to make sure they're not sticking to your pan, and then flip them. Because you don't want them to stick. See how good that looks? Okay, let's get rid of that fork. But those are going to fry up really quickly for you. Not much time at all. So you want to have something kind of ready. I use paper towels and a platter to put the meat on and let the oil kind of drain off a little bit. Just so it's nice and crispy for you. And see, that side's almost done. They don't take very long at all. Probably, I'd say a couple minutes on each side, or until it starts to look done. Okay, you can turn that off. But yeah, that's just how I do it, and I'll show you how to do the gravy that goes with it. It's a really good, really simple gravy. It's an old recipe, so it's the way that my mom used to do it, and everybody in our family used to do it. It's just really quick and really easy. Let's get another fork and let's check them. See, they're starting to stick to the bottom a little bit, so that means they're not quite done. Let them go for a little longer. And that's basically, like I said, that's basically it. That's how you're going to fry them. And then I'll come back and show you the gravy. Show you how I do that. Because that's really simple too. But you're not going to use all of this oil for the gravy, I promise. You're going to pour it up into something else. Yeah, that needs a few more minutes. But it's going to make it kind of crispy on both sides. And that flour just makes like a crust for you. Like I said, and it's really good. Okay, I'll come back when I do the gravy. Alright, this is the last little bit of the cube steak frying up now. And because the gravy goes so fast, I wanted to go ahead and show you the end of what your cube steak's going to look like. And this is basically what it's going to look like. They're going to look nice and crispy for you. And then I'll show you the gravy, because like I said, gravy goes really fast. So you just have to, watch, because it goes kind of fast. But yeah, that's what your cube steak is going to look like when you're done frying it. Okay? Nice and crispy. We're going to set that over to the side. Now, like I said, it's tricky doing gravy. I'm going to pour this in a bowl, because you're not going to use all of that oil in your gravy. I'm going to try not to make a huge mess. But you kind of want these drippings to stay in the pan. You kind of want that to stay, the meat drippings in the pan. Okay? But you want just enough oil to coat the pan. Hold on just one second. Let me get this. Let me wipe that off a little bit. Okay. You want just enough oil to stay in the pan to kind of coat the pan. Okay? Like that. And that's not a lot of oil. But what you're going to do is you're going to take let that heat up for a second on medium heat. And you're going to take a fork and you're going to kind of work those drippings around to where they're not sticking to the bottom. And you want to scrape the sides here. And kind of do that real quick. Okay? Because gravy is going to be quick. Alright, now that those drippings are nice and hot, what you're going to do is you're going to take your flour that's over here. I've got a half a cup of flour. I don't know if I'm going to use all of it, but, and that's kind of what you want to do. No, I'm not going to use all this flour. So it's probably just, I would say just a handful of flour. It's not going to be much flour at all. But you kind of want to work it around and make like a roux out of it. And just until that flour browns, you want that flour to kind of brown up for you. Because we're making brown gravy, not white gravy. If it was white gravy, you would do it a bit different. Now, if you feel like you need more flour than that, go ahead and add it. But I don't think we do. I think just a handful of flour, that's all you need. I just used the measuring cup because, well, it was easier. Anyway, so you want that flour to brown up just like that, and you're going to add maybe a cup of water. Maybe a cup and a half, I would say, of water. And you're going to kind of work it around like that to let all that flour kind of mix together with the water and the oil, the vegetable oil. And I did use vegetable oil for this. I know you didn't see that part, but I did. Okay, now it depends on the thickness of your gravy, how you like it. It depends on if you like a thick gravy or a thin gravy. But you're going to let this simmer. And I'm going to add a little bit more water to it because I like it a little bit thinner. You can always add water to it while it's cooking like this, but never add flour back to it while you're cooking it like this. You want to put all the flour in with the oil before you ever add your water. You can always add a little bit of water, but never ever ever the flour back to it. Okay. Now, since this is usually I do onions and bell peppers, but tonight I'm just going to do onions. But you can do it either way. You can make this gravy either way. But you can let it simmer for however long you want it to thicken up. And I'm going to let it simmer. I'm just going to salt and pepper it real quick. And not a lot of salt. Not a lot of pepper. Just coat the top of it. Just like that. A few shakes. You're good. Okay, now I've taken an onion and I've just cut out the little rings of it. Just a small yellow onion. And I'm going to throw all that in there and let those onions soften up. And let it all simmer together and let those onions kind of soften. You want them to be soft when you eat them. But I'm going to take some of my meat. You know, we talked about it earlier that, or I talked about it earlier, that you want to add your meat back to your gravy. And I'm just going to submerge. I'm going to do half and half. I'm going to submerge these pieces back in here and let them simmer. Now, they're already fully cooked, but they're just going to simmer with the gravy and let the meat soften up. And like I said, not everybody likes gravy, so I'm going to do half and half. Half in the gravy, half out of the gravy, just on the meat. Or maybe I'll just do these 3 pieces just to kind of show you. Because not everybody likes gravy. But I do. I love gravy. It's not, I'm not going to tell you it's healthy because it's really, you know. But it's really good though. But you're just going to let that simmer and let those onions soften up. And there you have it. You have your cube steak and gravy. That's it, and that's all. If you want to, you can put a lid on it and let it simmer like that. Like I said, you can choose to put bell pepper in it. I just didn't tonight. But I do that most every time I put bell pepper in it. It does taste a little different with just the onion, and it tastes a little different with just the onion and the bell pepper. But that's the way we like it. And there you go. Thank you. Okay, and this is how I serve my cube steak and white rice and cornbread, and I've got purple whole peas. Alright, thanks.